Achoo! My shower is backing up, so I have to regulate the water for the moment. It comes from here in the sink, and then it goes. I was just some sauce that I had for too long, and then I sent pictures and stills to all the pages for Aunt Carol, for Aunt Connie's obituary. This is a lava rock. It's really dense and quite heavy. Just remember I was sharing with you guys the 40,000-year-old, what do you call it? The volcano that erupted years and years ago, and 40,000 years ago. And it's like right across from us. But yeah, so my bike also blew up. So this, I believe this failed first. The wire, the cable that, gets the derailleur, it goes like this. And then, the chain goes around. And then the hanger, you'll see right here, it failed. So this is, Mike, theory of obsolescence. So things are made to break. So this is cast iron, like really, really cheap cast iron. It's like powder. It's almost like cement. And then it's right here. There's a hanger. It hangs from, a lot of people don't realize that the derailleur is your back derailleur. It actually hangs from this right here. You see where it's failed right here, the hanger? This is a separate piece. It's like a hanger. It's like this. And then there's a hole like right here. And then where the derailleur goes in is right. You'll see it right here. You see like this screw. There's a screw. It's kind of hard, but it's like this screw right here. It goes like this. And then I'll hold it like this. Let's see here. It's the best way to put it in between my knees. So yeah, you go like this. And then it hangs from here upside down like that. Well, it'd be right side up if the bike was right side up. Just use your imagination. So it goes, this screws right into here. This screw goes into here. And so it's two pieces. There's a piece here, hanger, then it hangs. And when that fails, they make it so it should be as durable as this. This is, I don't know if this is cast iron or not. This has to be more, robust, if you will. They make that hanger because it breaks. And that's that theory of obsolescence, Mike. It's theory of obsolescence that you learn at Chapman. I'm sure that you learn it now everywhere. But and then derivatives, which were the products that we did for Chapman, that were the products for when they had Fannie Mae and Barney Frank when he was in the house. I believe it was like Clinton or someone spearheaded that, where you didn't need to actually prove how much money you made. And that's when people went and got a lot of loans and stuff. When people started realizing that they didn't have to show a check stub or their last 3 years of taxes because they lacked the policies and stuff, and the rules for finance and mortgage companies, the mortgage banks like Countrywide. One of the brothers, man, he was in Atlanta. He was a really nice looking brother. He was like, I don't know if he was Hispanic, but he was like maybe Persian or something, a nice looking guy. He always had nice, beautiful people around him and stuff. And you would think he did, white girl, what they call cocaine and stuff, and like green, which is marijuana or cannabis, and then clear, or what they call Tina or meth or something. I call it dodo bird, and you'd think he did, but he was clean as a whistle. He used to have wine and stuff. I used to go to his house. And right when the market in 2008 was about to crash, he said, Wayne, you know, I know it's a conscientious decision, Wayne. And then he was talking to me like a brother. And then he goes, because he said, man, you're such a nice guy and stuff. But then somehow it came up where I knew about the truth. And, you know, he told me his story and I shared my story. And he said, yeah, he goes, man, I feel bad, man. He said, because I know the market and I know you know, because I shared with them at Chapman what we were doing with derivatives and testing those products and testing the elasticity, when it would snap and when it would break the system. And that was in 84 and 88, Mike and Kyle and Christina and Mary Michael. And it was so crazy because I have my transcripts, which I'll send to you. You'll see I had a 2.0 the whole time at Chapman pretty much. I was getting Fs and stuff, but I always had enough points where I was getting like a 2.0. So just so I could play basketball. I was like up to like maybe 2.7 or 8 or something at that point. But I was just gliding there. You know, I was having the time of my life. I was playing basketball. I was playing running track. I got forced. That was a whole nother story. I could have got the track coach fired for that because he was tight with Dr. Bowman, who was the activities director. He said, I can make your life really difficult if you don't agree to run track. Because I was like, no, I don't run track, you know, and I would love to. And I'm you know, grateful, and I'm, you know, I'm flattered by the fact that you think I can run track and I'm really fast because you've seen me training for basketball. But I have to say emphatically no, you know, because I just really need to focus on basketball. I want to focus on my studies, you know, and track just seems boring to me. I love watching it. And, you know, my girlfriend, I wasn't even dating Debbie at the time. It was a guy, Winston, that was dating her. That was a big deal. I bounced the ball off his head. He chased me around the gym as a freshman because my friend Patty and my roommate David, I don't know if you ever came to the school, Mike, where I lived on campus and stuff, but yeah, they approached me and said, hey, Debbie's being physically assaulted by Winston. And I knew it was crazy. And in practice, I called him out one day. And I wasn't striving to date Debbie, but I wasn't attracted to her and stuff. And I never had a girlfriend before and stuff. I only had one French kiss in my life and stuff up to then in 8th grade at Fayros. So, you know, I just wanted to just hang out, you know, and stuff. But anyways, I kind of going off because it was so tragic because he chased me around the gym. I got mad at him in practice because he hit one guy and one of the guys quit on our team because his ear was hanging. And Coach Wilson was instigating all this stuff, players against others. The players he was bringing in, some of the black guys were rugged and stuff, so he was trying to get some other guys to quit. So he'd have them do weird stuff to people and stuff. And he was trying to get me, but he couldn't do anything because I was on academic. You know, they rescinded my sport scholarship and gave it to someone else, which I didn't realize until years later. Within the last few years, last 5 or 6 years, I realized, dang, they got 2 players for 1 because they rescinded. My letter said rescinding your sports scholarship, but for 4-year ride, whether you get hurt or not, they have to honor it. At least back then they did. And then I was happy because I was like, man, I'm an academic, so if the politics starts happening and because Hazard left and all that, and now I'm a lame duck, I'm not under the auspices or under the contract with the sports. So he really couldn't kick me off the team unless I did something really bad, even though I was like not under the sports scholarship. But, you know, I was a good player, you know. I just didn't play any my second year. I only played a few times, like 9 games. And it's funny, I've been seeing in newspaper articles and stuff recently, and I was like, dang, like the one with Joey Yesvek that we played against, we beat them, but Joey he ended up being the D1 leading scorer that season, if I remember correctly. And we played against each other. Remember I played against Andre Young? We played at UC Riverside, came back from being a fireman or something, or took a sabbatical or something. That was cool. Coach Wilson got mad at that. He got mad at Yesvek because I knew him and stuff. Not just knew him, dude, like my brothers, you know. He got mad at that and jealous. And Andre and the coach, they came in the locker room at Riverside talking to me. Kind of messed me up, but that coach at Riverside wanted me to transfer and play, you know, behind Dre, you know, because he was a point guard, 2-1-2 man, you know. And I should have because they were running gun and stuff. But I didn't want to go to Riverside. And I just finally want to go to school where I went all the way through, Mike and Chris. Because I went to 3 high schools in 4 years. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it because I met so many people. I got friends all over Southern California because of 3 high schools in 4 years in different walks of life and socioeconomic. Now, those guys live all around the world. Willie, I could go on. I met I got to really know Marion Suge Knight, you know. Before he was Suge Knight, he was just Marion Knight. He was a shot putter. I knew him from before because Linwood was on our league, as you know, Mike, and Dominguez and stuff, you know, in the San Gabriel Valley League, you know, like Downey and Warren and Paramount and El Rancho, I think it was. And, of course, Cerritos. Well, you went to Cerritos, I went to Gar, of course. We were the crosstown rivals. But, I just enjoyed it. But, and then, elementary schools we had to because there was no more schools. Like, you went to Sowers, we moved there in 68 and stuff. So there was no schools. There wasn't enough schools. Even Leo, remember, wasn't done. And then finally I got to Leo, my junior year, my third grade year. See, I went to 6. I went to Carver, Cerritos Elementary, Leo, Benito Juarez, and let's see, it seems like there's one more. So in 6 years, look, I went to 4 elementaries in 6 years. And then I went to 3 high schools in 4 years. So Chapman, and then I did go to Fay Ross 2 years in a row. So I did Fay Ross, and it felt good to go there and finish and graduate. Now that I think about it, that was the highlight of my life, man. My 12 and 13-year-old, man. 12th, 7th grade, man. That was the best of the best of the best. Not that anything else was bad, but I remember Mom and Pops, they asked me years later, even when they were divorced, hey, we were talking, separately, but I said, Mom, did Pop talk to you about that too? She said, I'm just curious, like I was in my 30s or something in Atlanta. She said, curious, I wonder, how old was your favorite years, like growing up and stuff? I said 7th grade, 12 years old. If I could stick and be in the new system and be 12 years old, but be like how I am now, my height and fully grown and stuff, although we wouldn't be any age back if Adam and Eve wouldn't have made their mistake, and in particular Adam, we would have just said, hey, Jehovah, Eve has made a mistake, and neither one of them repented, and converted. Not to say that Jehovah would have said, hey, you're reprieved. Maybe he'd allowed them to eat from the tree of life at that time. And the cherub who's still standing there, the 2 of them, I think it's 2 of them, they're still standing there with their swords over their heads. Like maybe Jehovah would have forgiven them, maybe. But they didn't even repent. The woman that you gave me, Jehovah, that's why I ate, he blamed Jehovah and Eve. And then Eve said, I was truly deceived, but they never said sorry. When did they ever repent? And at least whether they knew they were going to die, but they still, maybe they did at some point. They said they were sorry, but and then of course Satan, he said he's gonna bruise, you're gonna crawl on your belly, and you're gonna eat dust for a long, long time, and then at some point you're gonna bruise him in his heel, and he's gonna crush you in your head, and there'll be enmity between you. There'll be enmity between you, the woman, and her child or her kids or something, meaning like the congregation and this and that. It's all metaphors and stuff. But we knew who it was. It's going to be Mikael, art thou in heaven, and then Jesus, art thou on earth, and then whatever his new name is now in heaven. Maybe it's Michael or Jesus still, whatever he is now, and now he's immortal, and he has 144,000 with him. I don't know if it's 144,000 and then him, or is it 143,999 and then him, which would be 144. Is he a part of the 144, or is he outside of it and then he has 144? 12 tribes of Israel times 12. I don't know if that is real or not. I just always say 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. That's 144,000. I mean, 12 times 12 is, that'd be 144,000. But I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but just doing the math. But one love, peace and chicken grits, and I'm doing the right thing with the money. I don't have much left, but it's just Jehovah will take care of me. It's just like the birds. They wake up, but I got some really good things going. I don't want to speak on them, and I need to get Alpha May's number, Mike, if you have it. Alpha May, and it's 144, and boom, bing.